The morning alarm rang at exactly 6:30, and Mina opened her eyes immediately. She did not need to hit the snooze button like other teenagers. Her body clock was perfect, just like everything else about her life. Mina sat up in her small bedroom and looked at her desk. Her homework was completed and organized in neat piles. Her school uniform hung pressed and ready on the closet door. Her backpack waited by the chair with all books arranged by subject and size. She walked to the bathroom and brushed her teeth for exactly 2 minutes. Her reflection showed a 17-year-old girl with clear skin and bright eyes. Nothing unusual. Nothing that would make anyone look twice, but 2 blocks away. Agent Kim Tae-ho adjusted his camera lens and watched Mina's bedroom window through high-powered binoculars. He had been doing this every morning for 3 weeks now. His target is awake, and following normal routine, he spoke quietly into his radio headset. "Copy that," came the voice of Agent Park Soyoung from her position in a van across the street. "All monitoring equipment is active and recording." Kim lowered his binoculars and frowned. 3 weeks of watching this girl, and she had not done anything even slightly interesting. She woke up at the same time every day. She ate the same breakfast. She walked the same path to school. She attended all her classes and got perfect grades on every test. So why had command assigned to experienced agents to watch a high school student? Mina finished her morning routine and went downstairs to the kitchen. Her adoptive mother, Mrs. Lee, was already preparing breakfast. "Good morning, dear," her mother said with a warm smile. "Did you sleep well?" "Yes, thank you," Mina replied. Politely, she sat at the small table and ate her rice and soup without talking much. Her mother was used to this quiet behavior. Mina had always been a serious child who spoke only when necessary. What Mrs. Lee did not know was that sometimes Mina heard whispers in her dreams, voices speaking words in a language she did not recognize, but somehow understood. She never told anyone about these dreams because they felt private and important. At 7:45, Mina left her house and began walking to Seoul National High School. The route took exactly 18 minutes at her steady pace. She never hurried and never slowed down, Agent Park started the van and followed at a distance while Agent Kim walked behind on the opposite side of the street. They had practiced this routine many times and could track Mina without being noticed. "She really is boring," Park muttered into her headset. Most teenagers check their phones constantly or stop to talk with friends. This one just walks straight to school like a robot. "Stay focused," Kim replied. "Command does not waste resources on boring targets." Mina entered the school building and went directly to her first class. Mathematics had always been easy for her, though she could not explain why. Numbers and equations made perfect sense in her mind, as if she was remembering something rather than learning something new. Her teacher, Mr. Han, handed back test papers from the previous week. Mina received hers with another perfect score written. At the top in red ink, "Excellent work as always, Mina," Mr. Han said. "Would you like to solve the bonus problem on the board for the class?" Mina nodded and walked to the front of the room. The equation was supposed to be university level, something that would challenge even the smartest high school students. But as Mina looked at the numbers and symbols, the solution appeared in her mind immediately. She picked up the chalk and began writing. Her hand moved smoothly across the board, filling it with calculations that flowed like water. The other students watched in amazement as she solved the complex problem in less than 3 minutes. "Perfect," Mr. Han said, shaking his head in wonder. "You have a gift for mathematics, Mina." But Mina did not feel gifted. She felt like she was cheating somehow, even though she had not looked at any notes or copied from anyone. The answers just came to her naturally. Outside the school, Agent Park was monitoring electronic signals with her specialized equipment. Her scanner showed normal readings from phones, computers, and other devices inside the building. But during Mina's mathematics class, something strange happened. "Kim, are you seeing this?" Park called over the radio. "What is it?" "I am getting unusual energy readings from the school." The pattern started exactly when classes began, Kim checked. His own equipment from his position in a coffee shop across the street. His scanner was designed to detect unknown technology, and it was showing activity that did not match any known human devices. "The readings are strongest near the mathematics classroom," Park reported. Whatever's causing this, it is connected to our target. Inside the classroom, Mina had returned to her seat and was listening to the lesson. She did not notice that her pencil was writing notes slightly faster than the teacher was speaking. She did not see that some of her classmates were staring at her with confused expressions. Her best friend Hanju Wu leaned over and whispered,
Ow.
"How did you solve that problem so quickly?" I could not even understand what the teacher was asking. Mina shrugged. It was not difficult. The pattern was clear. But even as she said this, Mina wondered why mathematics felt so familiar to her. Sometimes when she looked at equations, she saw not just numbers, but something deeper, like the numbers were trying to tell her something important about how the world worked. The morning continued with more classes. Physics, where Mina answered questions about concepts she had never studied. Literature, where she analyzed poems with insights that impressed her teacher. Chemistry, where she predicted reaction results before performing the experiments. Agent Kim and Agent Park documented everything from their hidden positions. Their equipment recorded energy spikes during each of Mina's classes, especially when she was actively participating. "This is not normal teenage behavior," Kim said during their lunch break communication. "Her academic performance is beyond exceptional. It is almost impossible." "The energy readings support that," Park agreed. "Whatever is happening with this girl, it involves technology we do not recognize. We need to dig deeper into her background." Kim decided, there has to be something in her history that explains this. But as they prepared for the afternoon surveillance shift, their agent realized they were about to discover something that would change everything they thought they knew about their quiet, perfect target. At lunchtime, Mina sat alone in the school cafeteria and ate her meal slowly. She preferred eating alone because it gave her time to think. Sometimes during these quiet moments, she felt like someone was watching her. Not the obvious attention of her classmates, who admired her grades, but something else. Something hidden. Looked around the cafeteria but saw only other students talking and laughing. Everything appeared normal, but the feeling remained, a gentle presence at the edge of her awareness. Mina finished her lunch and prepared for afternoon classes, unaware that her perfectly ordinary life was about to become very complicated. Agent Park Soyoung sat in her surveillance van, staring at the computer screen with growing concern. The digital file she had been reviewing for the past hour made no sense. "Kim, you need to see this," she called into her headset. Agent Kim Tai-ho finished his coffee and walked over to the van. Park pointed at her laptop screen showing Mina's academic records from the past 2 years. "Look at her test scores," Park said. "Up until 18 months ago, she was a good student but not extraordinary. Average grades, normal performance." Something changed. Kim leaned closer to examine the data. The change was dramatic and sudden. Mina's grades had jumped from 70s and 80s to perfect scores in every subject. Her standardized test results showed improvement that should have taken years to achieve, but it happened in just a few weeks. "Students do not improve this quickly," Kim said. "This pattern suggests she gained access to advanced knowledge somehow." "That is not the strangest part," Park continued. She pulled up another file. "I hacked into the school's internal database. Look at her answer sheets from recent exams." The scanned test papers appeared on screen. Kim frowned as he studied them. Mina's handwriting was neat and consistent, but some of her answers went far beyond what was taught in high school classes. "Is solving physics problems using university-level concepts," Kim observed. "And look at this literature essay. She is analyzing themes that most college students would miss." Park nodded. Either she is secretly studying advanced materials at home, or something else is helping her learn. Inside Seoul National High School, Mina was attending her physics class with Professor Choi Woo-bin. Today's lesson was about basic electricity. But as the professor explained simple circuits, Mina found herself thinking about more complex ideas. She raised her hand. "Professor Choi, what about quantum tunneling effects in semiconductor junctions?" The classroom went silent. Professor Choi stopped writing on the blackboard and turned to look at Mina with surprise. "That is a very advanced topic, Mina. Where did you learn about quantum tunneling?" Mina felt confused. She had not learned about it anywhere that she could remember. The concept had simply appeared in her mind while listening to the lecture. I am not sure, she said honestly. The idea just seemed connected to what you were explaining. Professor Choi studied her face carefully. Can you explain what you think quantum tunneling means? Mina hesitated, then began to speak. The words came naturally, as if she was remembering a conversation rather than recalling a lesson. It is when particles pass through energy barriers that should be impossible to cross, according to classical physics. The particle exists in multiple states until observation collapses the wave function into a single outcome. Her classmates stared at her with blank expressions. Even the smartest students in the room did not understand what she was talking about. Professor Choi felt a chill run down his spine. Mina had just described quantum mechanics concepts that were taught in graduate-level physics courses. But more than that, she had described them with an understanding that suggested real comprehension, not memorization. Very good, Mina, he said carefully. We will discuss more advanced topics later. But as the class continued, Professor Choi found himself watching Mina more closely. 20 years ago, he had worked on a classified government project involving advanced technology. Some of Mina's responses reminded him of concepts from that project. After school, Mina walked home following her usual route. But today she felt different. Her head was filled with strange thoughts and ideas that seemed to come from nowhere as she passed the electronics store on Main Street. Something unusual happened. The display televisions began flickering and changing channels randomly. Customers inside the store looked around in confusion as the devices malfunctioned. Mina stopped walking and stared at the chaotic screens. For a moment, she felt connected to the electronics in a way she could not understand. Then the feeling passed, and the televisions returned to normal. Strange, she muttered to herself and continued walking from their surveillance position. Agent Kim had witnessed the entire incident through his binoculars. Park, did you record what just happened at the electronics store? I got it, Park replied, reviewing the footage on her tablet. The electromagnetic interference started exactly when our target stopped walking. It ended when she moved away. Run a full spectrum analysis on that recording, Kim ordered, and check if any other electronic devices in the area were affected. That evening, Mina sat at her desk doing homework. Mathematics problems that should have been challenging were easy, but she found herself writing additional calculations in the margins, complex equations that her conscious mind did not recognize. But her hand wrote automatically. She looked at what she had written and felt frightened. The symbols and numbers meant nothing to her, yet somehow she knew they were correct. Mrs. Lee called from downstairs. Mina, dinner is ready, Mina replied. She closed her textbook quickly, hiding the strange equations she had written. During dinner, Mrs. Lee noticed that Mina was quieter than usual. Is everything all right at school? She asked. You seem worried about something? Mina considered, telling her adoptive mother about the confusing thoughts and strange incidents, but decided against it. Mrs. Lee would think she was having problems and might send her to see a doctor. School is fine, Mina said. I am just tired. But that night, Mina's dreams were more vivid than ever. She heard the mysterious whispers again, speaking in that unknown language. This time the voices seemed urgent, as if they were trying to warn her about something in her dream. She was standing in a place that looked like a library, but the books were made of light instead of paper. Tall figures moved between the shelves, and she knew somehow that they were trying to teach her something important. One of the figures approached her, spoke in the strange language. Mina understood the meaning, even though the words were unfamiliar. Time of awakening approaches. You must prepare for what is coming. Mina tried to ask what was coming, but she woke up before receiving an answer. She sat up in bed, breathing heavily. The dream had felt more real than any dream should. And for the first time, she remembered specific words from the mysterious language. Without thinking, she whispered one of the words aloud. Ashara. The moment she spoke, every electronic device in her room activated simultaneously. Alarm. Clock began beeping. Her desk lamp turned on and off rapidly.
Ow.
And her tablet screen lit up, showing patterns of symbols she had never seen before. Mina jumped out of bed and unplugged everything she could reach. Within minutes, the house was quiet again. outside her window. Agent Park's monitoring equipment registered a massive energy surge that lasted exactly 37 seconds. "Kim," she called urgently, "we just detected something that our equipment is not designed to measure. Whatever technology is involved with this girl, it is far beyond anything we know about." Agent Kim stared at his readings and felt a growing sense that their simple surveillance mission was about to become much more complicated. "Contact command," he said. "We need to know exactly why they want us watching Limina, and we need to know tonight." Agent Kim Tai-ho received the call from command at 3 in the morning. Commander Yoon Hyok's voice was serious and urgent. "Agent Kim, you and Park need to increase surveillance immediately. We have reason to believe your target is about to make contact." Kim sat up in his hotel bed, instantly alert. "Contact with whom, sir? That information is classified above your current level. Just watch the girl closely and report anything unusual." "Anything at all." The line went dead. Kim stared at his phone, feeling frustrated. After 2 months of surveillance, command was still keeping secrets about why Mina was so important. He called Park immediately. "Wake up. We have new orders." By 4:30 that morning, both agents were positioned outside Mina's house with their most advanced monitoring equipment: infrared cameras, electromagnetic sensors, and audio recording devices, all focused on her bedroom window. Inside her room, Mina was having the most vivid dream yet. She stood in what looked like a control room filled with soft blue light. Tall figures surrounded her, but their faces remained unclear in the strange glow. One of the figures stepped forward, began speaking in the mysterious language. This time, Mina understood every word clearly. "Child of two worlds, the time has come for you to know the truth. We have guided your learning and protected your growth. But danger approaches, and you must be ready." Mina tried to speak, but found she could only communicate using the strange language. The words flowed naturally from her mind. "Who are you? What danger? We are the keepers, guardians of peaceful contact between worlds. Your birth was part of a promise made long ago. When your biological parent ship crashed on this world, we vowed to watch over their child." The dream felt so real that Mina could feel the smooth floor beneath her feet and smell the clean, metallic air of the control room. "My biological parent was not human. Your parent was one of us. The crash 17 years ago left them dying, but they had time to ensure your survival. You were placed with the human family that found you, and we have remained hidden, helping you develop the abilities you inherited." Outside, Agent Park's equipment was going crazy. Energy readings spiked, beyond anything their devices were designed to measure. "Kim, are you seeing this? The electromagnetic signature is off the charts." Agent Kim adjusted his infrared camera and froze. Through the thermal imaging, he could see Mina's room clearly. She was lying in bed, apparently asleep. But there was something else in the room with her. Park switched to visual spectrum analysis. Now, Park typed quickly on her laptop. The computer processed the visual data and highlighted unusual light patterns. What appeared on screen made both agents stare in shock. A faint outline of a tall figure stood next to Mina's bed. The figure was nearly transparent, visible only through their advanced sensors. "We are not alone," Kim whispered. In her dream, Mina was learning things that changed everything she thought she knew about herself. "The abilities you have experienced are normal for our people. Advanced learning, technological connection, pattern recognition. These gifts awakened gradually as you matured. But I look human. I feel human. Your parents' species and humans are remarkably similar. The differences are mostly internal. Your brain can process information in ways humans cannot yet achieve. Your body can interface with technology through bioelectrical fields." Mina thought about all the strange incidents, the electronics that malfunctioned around her, the way complex problems seemed easy to solve, the knowledge that appeared in her mind without study. "Why are you telling me this now?" "Because others of your parent species have detected our presence. On this world, not all of them support peaceful contact with humans." The figure's form became clearer, and Mina could see kind eyes in an elongated face. A ship carrying hostile forces is approaching this solar system. They intend to eliminate all evidence of our contact program, including you and the other hybrid. Children we have been protecting. There are others like me. 17 children total, placed with families across this region. You are all part of a careful plan to prepare humanity for eventual contact with our civilization. But that plan is now in danger. Mina felt scared, but also strangely excited. Finally, the confusing aspects of her life were beginning to make sense. What do I need to do? First, you must learn to consciously control your abilities, the unconscious. Manifestations you have experienced are only the beginning. When fully awakened, you will be able to communicate across vast distances and interface directly with our technology. The dream began to fade, but the figure's voice remained clear. Tomorrow, your physics teacher will approach you. Professor Choi Woo-bin worked on the original contact program 17 years ago. He has been waiting for this moment. Trust him, but be careful. Others are watching you. Mina woke up gasping, but this time she knew it had not been a dream. The knowledge remained clear and detailed in her mind. She was half human and half alien. The mysterious voice belonged to one of her parents' people, the keepers who had been protecting her since birth. She sat up and looked around her room. Everything appeared normal, but she could sense a presence lingering nearby. Are you still here? She whispered in the strange language. A gentle warmth touched her mind, confirming that her alien mentor remained close. Outside, agents watched their monitoring equipment slowly return to normal readings. We need to report this immediately, Park said. Whatever we just witnessed, it proves the target is not entirely human, Greed Kim replied. But I think we should also prepare for the possibility that our surveillance mission is about to become a protection mission. At Seoul National High School the next morning, Professor Choi Woo-bin arrived early and sat in his empty classroom, staring at a locked drawer in his desk. Inside that drawer were documents he had not looked at for 17 years. Documents from a project so classified that officially it never existed. When Mina entered the classroom for first period physics, Professor Choi studied her face carefully. She looked tired, as if she had not slept well. But there was something different in her eyes. A new awareness that had not been there yesterday. After the other students filed in and took their seats, Professor Choi began the lesson. But instead of basic physics concepts, he started writing more advanced equations on the blackboard. Today, we will discuss theoretical applications of electromagnetic field manipulation, he announced. Several students looked confused, but Mina sat up straighter. She recognized some of the concepts from her dream conversation with the keeper. Professor Choi wrote a particularly complex equation and turned to face the class. Miss Lee, would you care to explain how this equation might apply to faster than light communication? The other students stared at Mina, waiting for her to admit she did not understand. But Mina stood up calmly and walked to the blackboard. The equation describes how electromagnetic fields can be folded through dimensional space, she said clearly. By creating resonance patterns across multiple dimensions, information can be transmitted instantaneously across any distance. Professor? Choi nodded slowly. Very good. And how would such a system be powered? Mina picked up the chalk and began writing additional equations. Quantum field fluctuations can be harvested and concentrated using crystalline matrices. The power requirements decrease exponentially once the dimensional fold is established. The classroom was completely silent. Even Professor Choi looked impressed by the depth of her explanation. After class, he asked Mina to stay behind. We need to talk, he said quietly. I think you know that your life is about to change dramatically. Mina looked into his eyes and made a decision that would alter everything. Yes, she said. I know. The question is whether you are here to help me or stop me. Professor Choi Woo-bin closed the classroom door and activated a small device that would block any listening equipment. He had carried this device for 17 years, waiting for the day he might need it again. I am here to help you, Mina, he said quietly. I have been waiting for this moment since you were an infant. Mina studied his face, trying to decide if she could trust him. Her alien mentor had said to be careful, but Professor Choi felt familiar somehow. You worked on the contact program, she said. It was not a question. Yes, I was one of the scientists, assigned to study the crashed ship and communicate with your parent before they died. Your biological parent made us promise to protect you and help you develop your abilities when the time came. Professor Choi pulled out his keys and unlocked the drawer in his desk. He removed a thick folder marked with symbols that Mina somehow recognized. These are the original project files. Everything we learned about your parents' species and their technology. Everything we discovered about you during your first few years of life. He opened the folder and showed Mina photographs of the crash site. The images showed a sleek silver craft partially buried in a mountainside outside Seoul. Government vehicles surrounded the area. The ship was damaged beyond repair, but your parents survived for 3 days. They used that time to share important information with us and to prepare for your future. Mina looked at pictures of a tall, slender being with large eyes and pale skin. The face was mostly human, but with subtle differences that marked it as something else. My parent, she whispered. Your parent told us that they were part of an advanced scout mission. Their people had been watching Earth for decades, studying human development and waiting for the right time to make peaceful contact. Professor Choi turned to another page showing detailed technical drawings. But not everyone in their civilization agreed with the peaceful approach. A military faction believed humans were too violent and primitive. They wanted to either eliminate humanity or keep Earth isolated forever. The hostile forces the Keeper warned me about, Mina said. Professor Choi nodded. Your parents' mission was to create bridges between our species, children who could understand both cultures and help humans adapt to galactic civilization. You and 16 other hybrids were the result. Outside the school, Agent Kim was growing increasingly frustrated. His audio equipment could not penetrate whatever Professor Choi was using to block their surveillance. Park, are you getting anything from the classroom? Negative? Complete signal blackout? But our long-range sensors are detecting something else. Multiple energy signatures approaching from different directions. Agent Kim checked his tablet and saw red dots appearing on the city map. The other hybrid children. They are all being activated simultaneously. Should we intervene? Not yet. But contact command and tell them the situation is escalating rapidly. The classroom, Professor Choi, was showing Mina a world map marked with 17 red circles. Each circle represents one of the hybrid children. Over the past few days, our monitoring stations have detected increased alien activity near all these locations. Mina recognized some of the cities, Seoul, Busan, Daegu, and others across South Korea. The Keepers are preparing all of us for something, she realized. Yes, and so are the hostile forces. Our deep space monitoring equipment detected alien ships entering the solar system 2 weeks ago, ships that do not match the friendly signals we have been receiving from the Keepers. Professor Choi closed the folder and looked directly at Mina. The next few days will determine the future of human and alien relations. If the hostile faction succeeds in eliminating the hybrid program, Earth will likely be quarantined or worse. But if you and the other children can demonstrate that the integration program works, humanity might be welcomed into the galactic community. Mina felt the weight of enormous responsibility settling on her shoulders. 17 years of normal life were ending, and she was being asked to help decide the fate of her entire species. What do I need to do? First, you need to learn to communicate with the other hybrids. Your alien abilities include something like telepathic connection across long distances. The Keepers have been gradually awakening this capability in all of you. As if responding to his words, Mina suddenly felt a strange sensation in her mind. It was like hearing distant voices calling her name. I can hear them, she said with wonder. The other children, they are scared but also excited. That means the network is becoming active. Can you speak to them? Mina concentrated, trying to send thoughts instead of just receiving them. After a few moments, she felt connections forming with minds across the country. Hello, she projected mentally. My name is Mina. Can you hear me? Responses came. Back immediately. Voices in her mind speaking Korean, but with an underlying layer of the mysterious alien language. We hear you. We have been waiting. The dreams are real. We're not alone. Something is coming. Something dangerous. Professor Choi watched Mina's face as she communicated with the hybrid network. Her eyes had taken on a slight glow, and the air around her seemed to shimmer with barely visible energy. The hostile ships will arrive within 48 hours, he said. Their plan is to destroy all evidence of the contact program before the Galactic Council can intervene. That includes eliminating you and the other children. Mina opened her eyes and looked at him with new determination. Then we will have to stop them. Mina, these are advanced alien warships with weapons beyond human technology. Even with your abilities, you are still mostly human teenagers. But we are not just human teenagers, Mina replied. We are something new, something that combines the best qualities of both species. And we have advantages that the hostile forces do not expect. Through the mental network, Mina could sense the other hybrids reaching the same conclusion. They were scared, but they were also angry. For 17 years, they had lived as outsiders, never quite fitting in with normal human society. Now they understood why. Professor Choi, can you contact the government agents who have been watching me? We are going to need their help. How did you know about the agents? Mina smiled for the first time since learning the truth about herself. I have always known someone was watching me. I just did not know if they were protecting me or studying me. Now I think it might be both. Outside, Agent Kim received an urgent message on his secure communication device. The message was from Professor Choi, requesting an immediate meeting. Park, we have been invited to join the conversation. Something tells me we are about to learn why Command really sent us here. As the agents prepared to enter the school, none of them realized that high above Earth's atmosphere, alien ships were already positioning themselves for an attack that would test everything humanity had learned about courage, adaptation, and the power of cooperation across species. Agent Kim Tai-ho and Agent Park Soyoung entered the classroom to find Mina sitting perfectly still with her eyes closed, surrounded by a faint shimmer of energy. Professor Choi gestured for them to remain quiet. She is communicating with the other hybrid children across the country, he whispered. The network is fully active now. Agent Kim had dozens of questions, but before he could speak, Mina opened her eyes and looked directly at him. You have been watching me for 2 months, she said calmly. Your equipment detected energy signatures you could not identify. You wondered why Command assigned experienced agents to monitor a high school student. How do you know all that? Agent Kim asked. Because I have been aware of your presence since the first day. My abilities include sensing electronic surveillance, equipment. I chose not to reveal this because I was not sure if you were protecting me or planning to capture me. Agent Park stepped forward. We are here to protect you. Until today, we did not fully understand what we were protecting you from. Professor Choi opened his classified folder and showed the agents the same documents he had shared with. Mina, gentlemen, everything you thought you knew about this mission is about to change. Mina is not just an unusually gifted student. She is part of a program that will determine whether humanity is ready to join a galactic civilization. For the next hour, Professor Choi explained the hybrid program, the approaching hostile ships, and the choice that Earth was about to face. The agents listened with growing amazement and concern. So if these hostile aliens succeed in destroying the evidence of peaceful contact, humanity will be isolated forever, Agent Kim asked. Or worse, Mina said. The hostile faction believes humans are too dangerous to be allowed technological advancement. They might decide to set human civilization back by centuries. Agent Park was studying her tablet, which showed alarming readings from monitoring stations across Asia. We are detecting massive energy buildups in space. Multiple objects approaching Earth at speeds that should be impossible. Through the mental network, Mina was receiving updates from the other hybrid children. Her keeper mentors were providing tactical information about the approaching threat. The hostile ships will arrive in 6 hours, she announced. They plan to attack all 17 locations simultaneously to prevent us from coordinating a defense. What kind of defense can 17 teenagers mount against alien warships? Agent Kim asked. Mina stood up and walked to the window. Outside, The normal bustle of Seoul continued as people went about their daily lives, unaware that their planet's future hung in the balance. The kind of defense that combines human creativity with alien technology, she said. Professor Choi, do you still have access to the original contact site? Yes, but the crashed ship was dismantled years ago. The ship was dismantled, but the technology it contained was studied and reverse-engineered. Some of that technology was integrated into human systems, correct? Professor Choi nodded slowly. The communication arrays, some of the power generation systems, and the quantum processors were adapted for human use. But they have been dormant for years. Then it is time to wake them up, Mina said with determination. Over the next 4 hours, a remarkable transformation took place across South Korea. Under Mina's coordination through the hybrid network, the 17 children began activating dormant alien technology that had been hidden in government facilities for nearly 2 decades. In Busan, a hybrid boy named Lee Jinwoo interfaced with a quantum communication array and established contact with keeper ships positioned throughout the solar system. In Daegu, a girl named Kim Na-hee activated a defensive energy grid that had been disguised as a weather monitoring station. Agent Kim and Agent Park found themselves serving as liaisons between the hybrid children and government forces that were finally being brought into the secret. Military commanders who had spent their careers preparing for conventional threats were suddenly dealing with alien technology and teenagers who could operate it through mental connection alone. This is impossible, General Huang muttered as he watched Mina interface directly with a computer system using only her thoughts. 17-year-olds should not be able to understand technology this advanced. They are not normal 17-year-olds, Professor Choi explained. And more importantly, they are not trying to understand the technology. They are remembering it. The knowledge is part of their genetic inheritance through the mental network. Mina coordinated with her fellow hybrids as they prepared Earth's defenses. But she also sensed something else through the connection. Her best friend Han Juo had been trying to call her for hours, growing increasingly worried about her absence. From school? Professor Choi, I need to contact Jiwoo. She will be frightened if I disappear without explanation. Mina, we cannot risk exposing more people to this situation. Jiwoo is not just any person. She's my closest friend, and her emotional support has been crucial to keeping me grounded in my human identity. The Keepers told us that maintaining our human connections is essential to the success of the integration program. Agent Park looked up from her monitoring equipment. The hostile ships have entered the upper atmosphere. We have maybe 30 minutes before they reach attack range. Mina made a decision that surprised everyone. Bring Jiwoo here. She needs to understand what is happening, and I need her help to remain balanced during what comes next. 20 minutes later, Han Jiwoo burst into the classroom, her face showing confusion and fear. Mina, what is going on? There are military vehicles everywhere and strange lights in the sky, and everyone is acting like the world is ending. Mina took her friend's hands and looked into her eyes. Jiwoo, I need you to listen carefully and try not to panic. Everything I am about to tell you will sound impossible, but it is all true. In the space of 5 minutes, Mina explained her alien heritage, the approaching threat, the role she and the other hybrids were about to play in defending Earth. Listened in stunned silence, then surprised everyone by laughing. You know what? This actually explains a lot. I always wondered why you were so weird about some things, and why electronics went crazy around you, and why you never seemed to struggle with anything academic. You are not afraid? Mina asked. I am terrified, Jiwoo admitted. But you are still my best friend, whether you are human or alien or both. And if you are about to save the world, then I want to help. At that moment, alarms began sounding across the city. Through the classroom window, they could see dark shapes moving across the sky, blotting out the afternoon sun. The hostile ships have arrived, Agent Kim announced, checking his communications device. All hybrid locations are reporting the same thing. The attack is beginning. Mina closed her eyes and connected fully to the hybrid network. 17 young minds linked together, supported by Keeper technology and guided by years of careful preparation. This is it, she said. Time to show the galaxy what humans can become when we work together. Through the network, she felt her fellow hybrids taking their positions. Each one was afraid, but none of them was alone. They were connected not just by alien technology, but by shared purpose and the determination to protect the world that had raised them. The final test of humanity's readiness for galactic citizenship was about to begin. The hostile alien ships appeared over Sol-like dark thunderclouds, surfaces absorbing light and creating shadows that chilled the air below. Citizens looked up in terror as the massive vessels positioned themselves above key government buildings and communication centers. In the classroom that had become Earth's impromptu command center, Mina felt the mental network of hybrid children reach full activation. 17 minds connected across South Korea, each one interfacing with dormant alien technology that was awakening after years of sleep. They are targeting our communication systems first, she announced, her eyes glowing with alien energy. They want to prevent us from coordinating with each other or calling for help from the Keepers. Through the window, Professor Choi watched as beams of red energy lanced down from the ships, striking radio towers and satellite installations. But instead of destroying the equipment, something unexpected happened. The towers are absorbing the energy, Agent Park reported, staring at her monitoring equipment in amazement. The alien technology we integrated is converting their weapons fire into power for our defensive systems. Han Ju-woo gripped Mina's hand as her friend's body became surrounded by a field of shimmering blue light. What is happening to her? He asked with concern. She is becoming a living interface between human and alien technology, Professor Choi explained. This is what the integration program was designed to achieve. Across the hybrid network, Mina sensed her fellow children undergoing the same transformation. In Busan, Lee Jinwoo was directing defensive energy shields that protected the cities. Population centers. In Daegu, Kim Na-hee was coordinating with Keeper ships that had emerged from hiding to engage the hostile forces. But the most important battle was taking place in the realm of ideas and communication. They are trying to jam our connection to the Galactic Council, Mina said through gritted teeth. If they can prevent us from demonstrating successful integration, they can claim that the Peaceful Contact program failed. Agent Kim watched in fascination as Mina began speaking in multiple languages simultaneously. Korean words mixed with the alien language she had learned in dreams, creating a complex communication pattern that somehow made perfect sense. What is she doing? He asked. She is broadcasting on every frequency available, Professor Choi replied, calling to any galactic observers, showing them that human and alien consciousness can work together without losing the essential qualities of either species. Through the mental network, the 17 hybrids combined their abilities in ways none of them had imagined possible. They were no longer just children with unusual talents. They had become living proof that different species could merge their strengths while maintaining their unique perspectives. The hostile ships responded by intensifying their attack. But their weapons were designed to fight conventional enemies. They had not prepared for adversaries who could adapt alien technology using human creativity and determination. Look at the sky, Gua said, pointing upward. Above Seoul. The battle was creating a spectacular light show as energy beams met defensive shields. But more importantly, other ships were appearing. Sleek vessels with the smooth curves and soft glow that marked them as belonging to the Keepers. The Galactic Council has arrived, Mina announced. They came to observe how humanity responds. To this test, through the network, she could sense the cosmic significance of this moment. Hundreds of alien species throughout the galaxy were watching to see if humans could prove themselves worthy of membership in the galactic community. The hostile commander aboard the lead attack ship was growing frustrated. His weapons could not penetrate the defensive systems that the hybrid children were operating. Worse, his targets were not cowering in fear as primitive species usually did when faced with superior technology. Instead, the humans were fighting back with a combination of alien knowledge and distinctly human tactics. They were adapting faster than his tactical computers could predict, using strategies that no purely logical species would attempt in the classroom. Mina made a decision that surprised everyone, including herself. I am going to speak directly To the hostile commander, she announced. Mina, that is incredibly dangerous, Professor Choi protested. Not if I do it right, she replied. The integration program was not just about creating hybrids who could use alien technology. It was about creating bridges between different ways of thinking. Before anyone could stop her, Mina projected her consciousness directly toward the hostile ship. Using abilities she was discovering in real time, she established a communication link with the alien commander. The hostile leader was shocked to find a human mind touching his thoughts. But he was even more surprised by what he sensed there. Mina's consciousness contained both human emotion and alien logic, human creativity and alien knowledge. She was not trying to defeat him through force, but to show him something he had never considered. You believe humans are too primitive and violent for galactic citizenship, she projected, but you are judging us by old standards. Look at what we have become when given the chance to grow. Through the mental link, she showed him the hybrid network. 17 young people working together across vast distances, coordinating the defense of their world while maintaining their individual personalities and cultural connections. We do not lose our humanity when we gain alien knowledge, Mina continued. We become something new, something that combines the best qualities of both species. The hostile commander felt his certainty wavering. What he was seeing did not match his preconceptions about human nature. You are still a violent species, he transmitted back. Your history is filled with wars and conflicts. Yes, Mina agreed. And that experience with conflict has taught us the value of cooperation and peace. We do not fight because we enjoy violence. We fight to protect what we love. Around the planet, other hybrid children were making similar connections with hostile forces. Each conversation was unique, reflecting the personality and perspective of the individual hybrid, but all carried the same message. Humanity was ready to evolve, but not by abandoning what made them human. The Galactic Council ships maintained their positions, observing but not interfering. This test had to be resolved by the species being evaluated. After what felt like hours but was actually only minutes, the hostile commander made his decision. He ordered his ships to withdraw, but not in defeat. I've shown us something unexpected. He transmitted to Mina. Perhaps the peaceful integration approach deserves more consideration. As the dark ships departed, leaving Earth's sky clear once again, Mina felt the hybrid network settling into a new configuration. The crisis had awakened abilities that would remain active, creating a permanent bridge between human and alien consciousness. What happens now? Ju asked, as her friend's eyes returned to normal. Now the real work begins, Professor Choi said with a smile. Mina and the other hybrids will help humanity prepare for formal contact with galactic civilization. That process will take years, and it will require patience from everyone involved. Agent Kim was already receiving new orders from command. His surveillance mission was officially over, but his new assignment was just beginning. He and Agent Park would become part of a new government division, responsible for managing humanity's transition to galactic citizenship. 3 months later, Mina stood at the podium in her school's auditorium, preparing to give her graduation speech. The audience included her classmates, their families, and several government officials who now understood the true significance of education in preparing for humanity's future. Education is not just about learning facts, she began, her voice carrying clearly through the auditorium. It is about learning to think in new ways, to consider perspectives different from our own, and to work together toward common goals. She paused, looking out at faces that included both fully human students and the few other hybrid children who attended schools in the Seoul area. We live in a time of great change and great opportunity. The universe is larger and more wonderful than any of us imagined. Our role is not to abandon what makes us human, but to show that humanity can grow and adapt while maintaining the qualities that make us unique. In the audience, Han Juo smiled proudly at her best friend. Agent Kim and Agent Park sat in the back, no longer surveillance officers, but honored guests at the graduation of Earth's first official ambassador to the galactic community. The future belongs to all of us, Mina concluded. Human and alien, individual and community, tradition, and innovation. We do not have to choose between our past and our future. We can build a bridge that honors both. As the audience applauded, Mina felt the gentle presence of her keeper mentor in her mind, offering congratulations and approval. The model student had become something far more important, a model for what humanity could become when it embraced both its roots and its potential for growth. Above Earth, hidden observer ships from dozens of galactic civilizations recorded the graduation ceremony. The message was clear. Humanity had passed its test and was ready to take its place among the stars. But they would do so as humans, enhanced by new knowledge and capabilities, but never losing the creativity, determination, and capacity for growth that made them unique in the galaxy.